Hi, this is J.R. Ridinger and I'm back with you again. In this session, I'd like to discuss what does the unfranchised system really mean? And do you really understand it and follow it? You see, following the unfranchised system works. Period. It works. Deviating from the system, however, increases the reliance on the individual to sustain the business while increasing the probability of failure or decreasing duplication. Now, beating the system does not work. It never has worked. Oh, excuse me. It might work for a while at the expense of the company and other unfranchised owners while it's hidden. However, it always boomerangs and eventually will fail. It's inevitable. It is a simple matter of time, and there's consequences that come with it. So it really never does produce lasting residual income, which is the purpose of the business. So why even bother? In fact, every time over the past 25 years when someone has done something that is not part of the unfranchised system, which is a system that is tried, tested, and proven, their system has eventually failed. If they're doing something that is truly great, financially sound, regulatorily in line, and duplicatable, it becomes part of the unfranchised system when approved by the executive sales team, corporate team, management team, advisory council, and me. Why? Because we know what works and what makes sense, and our success speaks for itself. So if it's good enough for one, it must be good enough for all. And it must benefit everyone equally and not cause one UFO to benefit at the expense or detriment of another. And it must not undermine the company's stability, integrity, or fiscal soundness for the sake of longevity, which protects every unfranchised owner's residual income, and that's what it's all about. So understand that if everyone did things differently, there would be no unfranchised system. This method defeats the purpose, and it actually causes us to become a non-system, an anarchy or free-for-all method, resulting in confusion, less duplication, and less success. If one does not follow the unfranchised system, they cannot be a trainer, speaker, event coordinator, or promoted as a successful UFO in the eyes of others, and will not be used in the GMTSS or the unfranchised training system. They can do their own thing in their own business or organization if it doesn't violate the agreements, policies, and procedures, and if it's legal. However, they're not allowed to teach it to other groups or to participate in the unfranchised system, such as the certified trainings, university trainings, or publish their method, or participate as a trainer or event coordinator or speaker in the GMTSS. Why? Well, it contradicts the unfranchised system and causes confusion and dilutes duplication. That's why. So once this becomes beating the system and violates the rules, it is the anti-unfranchised system and is out of bounds legally, which requires corrective action. So why even have an unfranchised business? The unfranchised system with the technology, systems, products, etc., would be worth over $100,000 if an individual had to pay for it. Maybe they would value it more and follow it then. But we give it for $129.95, which doesn't even cover the operational costs. We subsidize it to make it available to the average person, practically for free. And there has to be some consideration for the agreement to even be valid. The result is often ironic, as many UFOs treat it like a $129 business rather than $1 million business or even a $129,000 franchise. If they treated it as such, they would probably be extremely successful. So becoming an unfranchised owner is only meaningful if one learns the basic five and treats it like a business doing the result-producing activities. It is basically a tryout or test market or apprenticeship. Maybe it's better described as going to college and getting a degree. But when you graduate here, you have a job at the master unfranchised owner level, which simply measures being open for business by doing the business. Although one may sign up or apply, this doesn't mean that they really have a business, that it's really opened. They have to do the unfranchised system or the basic fundamental result-producing activities for their business to be open. You can't buy a business and never show up for work and say that you have a business. So, from my expert opinion, a master unfranchised owner has opened their doors for business by showing up for work in order for them to actually have a real business. So let's stop lying to ourselves or fooling ourselves. It is what it is. And I'm extremely accurate and on point about this. It's not semantical, it's reality. So if anyone wants to debate this, come on, I'm ready. See, the unfranchised system is not just a word, a concept, or a marketing jargon. It is a real system with real technology, systems, products, training, coaching, promotion, etc. You define if you have one not by signing up, but by doing it. The biggest idiot, in my opinion, is the one who does not follow the system. It's okay to do nothing or sign up to buy products at wholesale, but that's not an unfranchised owner. So remember what I taught in the previous posts, articles, and video. The 4 major cornerstones described in the recent videos are what make up the unfranchised system. Now, do you appreciate and understand the unfranchised system? You see, this is real. It's a tangible business with technology and systems that are proven to work. The question is, does a new UFO follow the system and work it? Because if they work it, it works. So why is the unfranchised system an accurate description of a real business? You see, people like to relate anything new to something that they already know as a reference point to compare it to. In Market America, the unfranchised business opportunity is really not like anything else out there that exists. But if I were to compare it to anything, I would compare it to a franchise. However, it has powerful differences and advantages that make it even better. It eliminates the downside of franchising, but offers the same systemization and uniformity, as well as a turnkey system that works. So there's required ways of doing things just like in a franchise. However, unlike a franchise, we eliminate the royalties and franchise fees. So in reality or practice, it is the opposite of franchising in an economic model. So we call it the unfranchised business. The unfranchised business is similar to a franchise in that it provides the following: systemized, standardized, and uniform systems or ways of doing things, and required ways of doing things, and operational requirements of the franchise. That's the way franchising works. It provides a proven management system, professional marketing tools, standardized training systems, products and services at the lowest possible prices, branding, and increased visibility. But unlike a franchise, the unfranchised system eliminated the downsides of franchising, such as no franchise fees or royalties, minimal startup expenses, potential tax advantages, no large monthly overhead, no territorial restrictions, and you can start up part-time with flexible hours, okay? And there's little risk at the end of the day. But there are legal and marketing model elements of franchising. The components that Market America's unfranchised system have, we're going to kind of say yes to if it has it. And those that it doesn't, we're going to say answer no to, and just kind of go through a checklist of things to see how it is similar and how it is different. So let's talk about the elements or legal requirements of what a franchise is. These are legal elements of a franchise, and the most common best practices of well-established, successful, and profitable franchises. So we want to go through this list and determine, yes, do we have that? Or no, we are not like that. Usually the no is to something that's a downside of a franchise. So trademark and brand protection requirements to use the brand name and their programs and systems. Yes, we have that. Next, franchise fees and royalties paid by the franchisee to the franchisor. Well, no, we don't have that, and that's a disadvantage. Controls and required ways of operating. Requirements. Well, yes, we do have that, and it's important. Next, a proven system that must be followed and following the franchise's system and processes. Yes, we have that, and that's what we've been talking about. Next, restrictions and operational requirements. Well, yes, we have that. Next, a franchise agreement with requirements, systems, and ways to operate. Yes, just like a franchise, we have that. A franchise manual and policies and procedures, rules and regulations, proprietary processes and trade secrets, operational and marketing systems, and best practices. Why, yes, we have that, and for good reason. It's what makes a franchise work, and it's what makes UnFranchise work. Next, the franchise maintains the contractual right to terminate a franchise if they misuse the name or do not follow the system, the requirements, the policies, and procedures. The answer is yes, and with good reason. Because just like in a franchise, if somebody was doing something to tarnish the name or that didn't work, it would affect all of the franchises. Same thing here. Next, let's talk about some benefits and advantages or best characteristics of successful franchises. One is name recognition and growing visibility. You see, we must protect our name and reputation for the benefit of all of us. But yes, we have that. Next, common community in different geographical locations, providing consumer expectation and confidence that they will receive the same products, quality, and service because they all adhere to the branding and following the same system, offering the same product at comparable prices. So if you expect something at a Holiday Inn, or if you expect something at a Marriott, or if you expect something at a McDonald's or a Starbucks, it better be the same as it is everywhere else, or they're going to devalue their system, and they're going to have to do something about it. So it's applicable here too, isn't it? Geographical territory. Now, this is not a requirement to be a franchise, but it's generally accepted as a best practice because the franchisor wants some protection. Well, we have no need for geographical territories here. So the answer is no. But we have unlimited territories, and it's defined by organizational or customer base and cyberspace and the genealogy, which is protected. Next is training and marketing support necessary to learn the business and the system and make them successful. Well, yes, we have that. We're all about that. Next is a proven business operational and marketing plan. Well, the franchisee doesn't need to figure it out because the advantage of franchising is figured out for them. And we do the same thing. So yes, we have it. Next is products and services at the lowest possible prices. Why, the answer is yes, that's what we're all about. Next is growing visibility and brand name recognition, exposure, advertising, and social media. Why, yes, we're all about that. We do it great, and you benefit from it. Next, let's talk about an example of how it works. I want you to just sit back, clear your mind, and think about this for a second. Franchising is an $840 billion to $1 trillion market, so it obviously works and is proven. Now, how is it that it actually works? Well, the franchise fee pays an average of $30,000 in franchise fees for a service-oriented franchise without equipment or real estate and equipment leases. It's basically just a system or business model. Now, when there's real estate, with real estate, equipment, leases, technology, and high cash flow or profit, it averages $147,000 in the U.S. So fundamentally, the franchisee pays the franchisor for the right and privilege to pay 5 to 10% of your sales or the franchisee's sales per month to the franchisor. Now, most franchises are not revolutionary new systems or rocket science, but pretty mundane, common business models like hot dog stands, burger joints, chicken stands, or shacks, coffee shops, mailbox rooms, or shipping centers, auto service shops, cleaning and steaming services, etc. Do you agree with that? So why do people do that? Why pay $147,000 for the use of the system and the name and then pay 5 to 10% of their sales volume? Well, it's mainly for a proven system, support, and training, which increases the probability of success. But you know, they probably could have figured it out for themselves. Now, Market America provides exactly the same thing, but the economics are the reverse of that. There's no large franchise fee or investment. So the business and you, the franchise owner, or in our case, the unfranchised owner, are why we do the reverse of that. Therefore, appropriately called the unfranchised business. However, one must follow the unfranchised system, just like in a franchise, or there is no franchise or unfranchised business. I hope you get that. So here's a conclusion and final point on this. Unlike other opportunities where everyone does things their own way or tries to find out what works and there is no required system of best proven methods and practices, we do provide the unfranchised system, and we all do it the same way. We use the power of duplication, which is the key to success in the business. And it is your choice to follow it or not, so long as you do not violate the rules, policies, and procedures. Now, why someone would not do that is just senseless, and to me, it's to their own disadvantage, even if they think they know it all. So remember the irrefutable axiom on success. The difference between success and failure is that the successful person did what the unsuccessful one did not do. It doesn't really matter why. But the basic 5 in the unfranchised system's best practices were created by looking at what the most successful people did or do and identify the commonalities or golden threads that runs through them. 10 years prior to Market America, I did the research and tested this. Then I repeated it for the first 10 years of Market America over and over again. Although things may have been added that developed and proved to be valid in a digital age, it still comes down to the irrefutable fundamentals and the systems. So why would someone want to reinvent the wheel is beyond me and beyond my comprehension, and it's just simply not smart. In fact, it makes no sense and is very risky. Each of us has to sleep in the bed we make for ourselves. And look, I can guarantee you, people like Elizabeth Weber and Frank Kiefer and Pam and Tony Bowling followed the system. We did it together. However, to beat the system and to create schemes and scams that are obviously out of bounds and violations of the Independent Unfranchised Owner Application and Agreement and the Management Performance Compensation Plan, or MPCP, rules, policies, and procedures is a direct attack on the company and all UFOs. It is in breach of contract and is often fraud or illegal. And that is what I call the anti-unfranchised system and will not be tolerated. Duplicating it and hiding it makes the one doing it an outlaw with me and the company. You know, it baffles me and it's disheartening that people would go to such length to abuse and undermine the system, a system that is proven and is so fair and solid when it's done right. You know, it's crazy that they would spend so much time and effort to pull these things off and hide them when it's easier just to do the thing right. I mean, I understand the entrepreneurial mind or zeal in trying to maximize results and income, which often leads to trying to beat the system and hide it. However, it is a boomerang And it comes back to hit one square between the eyes. It's actually stealing from the company, and when one beats the system in this way, they have a self-destruction mentality. This mentality ultimately leads back to them and has severe consequences, requiring them to pay back the invalid commissions or other sanctions or even termination or legal action. So if they were to succeed or continue to succeed and hide it, the MPCP would go out of control. This could also end up being a regulatory problem, resulting in regulatory action and destroy the company. So it's either them or the company. It's either them or the legitimate UFO community. Which is it? Now, anyone involved in these types of practices would be wise to end it and clean it up or admit it. It comes down to the company or them. It is one or the other. Who do you think will prevail? I have a tremendous responsibility leading a company that provides income that tens of thousands of families have relied on for years. It's my baby, and it's my baby that these people are trying to kill. So who do you think will prevail? This is just not a matter of right and wrong. It is very personal. And I find it incredulous that both the company and myself go to such lengths to make the opportunity and system better, easier, more profitable for the field's benefit, and then it is manipulated and abused by some. I feel that we do it with the purest of intentions and love for the field. Then people insult and abuse us by using it to cheat and gain at our loss, and ultimately all UFOs' loss, in a way that it was not intended to work. It was great just the way it was, and it was of tremendous benefit to everybody. So it just baffles me why people would do this. But instead of just doing it the way the system should work, they bastardize it and manipulate it into something that it was clearly not meant to be. They do it intentionally and laugh behind our back. How would you feel? Just an example. You know the challenge of keeping Market America proprietary brands off the auction sites and selling sites like eBay and Amazon.com. Now, we are vigilant about it and even develop all types of technology detection and prevention measures, as well as terminating those who do it, and we even have relationships with those companies to stop it and prevent it. Now, there was a recent UnFranchise News blog post article about this, and it got a tremendous response. Yet as much as we do, it multiplies faster than we can stop it. It's baffling because we do so much to prevent it. It's frustrating. But why is that? Well, we come to find out that the culprit is UFOs in the company buying products in large quantities and using the volume to create invalid payouts, using fake names, bogus centers, and then taking the money and discounting the product below UFO costs and stealing legitimate retail customers from other solid UFOs who worked for years to build up a retail base and solid customers. I mean, how do you feel about that? Fundamentally, they are destroying the market at other UFOs' expense. So what do you do about that? You see, if you would turn them in, we would be better able to eliminate the culprits and take legal action and return the customers to where they belong. The crazy thing is that it's not third parties causing this, but it's our own active scamming UFOs. The good news is that the UnFranchise system has worked for 25 years, and those who follow it have lasting success. The majority of the successful UnFranchise owners have used it and are beacon lights for others to follow. And the company is solid because of it, and UFOs succeed in developing the ultimate prize in earning a living, residual income. Residual income requires profitability, stability, or longevity to be valid, because it's not residual if it goes away. So that is a fact, and that is what we have built as an organization and a company. Now, in the next video, we'll examine how the MPCP and UnFranchise system were created and evolved, and why the result is a revolutionary system that is tried, tested, and proven and works for the average person. That's what it's all about. So remember, I believe in you, and the most important thing is that you keep growing.